Shalom, everyone. I just wanted to do another subject. This is the second video out of the Book of Jubilees, and the previous video I uploaded, obviously, was the human how the human population grew from Adam and Eve. So now we are doing the subject called Noah's Covenant with Yahuah. So so the previous video I covered, all the way up to chapter 4 in the Book of Jubilees, or yeah, after chapter 4. Now, Jubilees chapter 5, that's just a summary of what the Book of Enoch described in great details, which is actually in one of my previous videos I talked about that, about the fallen messenger. Actually, the video is called "What Happened Before Noah's Flood." So that is one of my previous videos. The Book of Enoch actually described in great detail what happened. So Book of Jubilees chapter 5 was just simply a summary of what happened that was described in detail in the Book of Enoch. So this for this subject, we're going to go over Jubilees chapter 6. And that is the chapter that talks about how Noah, had a covenant with Yahuah, our Father in heaven. So now I'm just wanting to start reading chapter 6 in the Book of Jubilees. On the new month of the it says the new moon of the third month, he went out from the ark and built an altar on the mountain. And he made atonement for the earth, and he took a young goat and made atonement with its blood for all the guilt of the earth. And by the way, this was actually right after the flood and the water clearing out and everything. So we're at that point of time. After Noah and all the animals and everything left the ark, and how the land was clearing up and wasn't flooded anymore. So that's where we're at in the point of history. So back to chapter 6. He made atonement for the earth, and he took a young goat and made atonement with its blood for all the guilt of the earth, and all that had been on it had been destroyed, except those that were in the ark with Noah. And he placed the fat of it on the altar, and he took a bull and a goat and a male goat and salt and a turtle dove and the young pigeon, and placed a burnt offering on the altar, and poured an offering on it mixed with oil, and sprinkled wine, and spread frankincense all over all, and caused a sweet fragrance to arise acceptable before Yahuah. And Yahuah smelled the sweet fragrance, and he made a covenant with him that there would no longer be a flood to destroy the earth. That all the days of the earth, seed time and harvest, shall never cease, cold and heat, and summer and winter, and day and night shall not change their order nor cease forever. And you increase and multiply upon the earth, and become numerous upon it, and be a blessing upon it. The fear of you and the dread of you I shall inspire in all that is on the earth and in the sea. And see, I have given to you all beasts and all flying creatures, and all that moves on the earth, and the fish in the waters, all matters for food, as the green plants. I have given to you all matters to eat. But flesh with its life, with the blood, you shall not eat. For the life of all flesh is in the blood, lest the blood of your lives be required. At the hand of every man, at the hand of every beast, I shall require the blood of man. Whoever sheds man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of Yahuah he made man. And you increase and multiply on the earth. And Noah and his sons swore that they would not eat any blood that was in any flesh. And he made a covenant before Yahuah forever throughout all the generations of the earth in this month. On this account he spoke to you that you shall make a covenant with the children of Israel, or a better pronunciation for Israel is Yasharal. So I'm going to call it Yasharal throughout the scriptures as I continue reading this, because it's a way better, you know, it's the ancient Hebrew pronunciation of Israel. So, all right. That you should make a covenant with the children of Yasharal in this month upon the mountain with an oath, and that you should sprinkle blood upon them, because all the words of the covenant which Yahuah made with them forever. And just a reminder, this book of Jubilees was written by Moses on top of Mount Sinai. That's why, the name Yasharal was mentioned in there, because that's when it was actually written. It was by Moses on the top of Mount Sinai. He written Jubilees, he written Jasher, which is another Dead Sea Scrolls. He written Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. So those are all the books that Moses actually wrote. All right, so continuing on. And this witness is written concerning you, that you should observe it continually, so that you shall not eat on any day any blood of the beasts or birds or cattle during all the days of the earth. And the man who eats the blood of the beast or of the cattle or of birds during all the days of the earth, he and his seed shall be rooted out of the land. By the way, we're not meant to be vampires. That's what this is about. We're not supposed to drink any blood from anything. We're not supposed to do that. Some people do, which is really weird, but yeah, we're not vampires here. That's what Yahuah is telling us. I'm just being funny here for a second. All right, so, and you shall command the children of Yasharal to eat no blood, so that their names and their seed may be before Yahuah our God continually. And this law there is no limit of days, for it is forever, and they shall observe it throughout their generations, so that they may continue atonement on your behalf with blood before the altar. Every day and at the time of morning and evening they shall seek forgiveness on your behalf continually before Yahuah, and that they may keep it and not be rooted out. And he gave to Noah and his sons a sign that there should not be a flood on the earth again. He placed his rainbow in the cloud for a sign of everlasting covenant, that there should not be a flood again on the earth to destroy it in all the days of the earth. So that is the very first rainbow that ever existed. I know those things are so beautiful to see. But a rainbow, that means that was, Yahuah's sign of his covenant with Noah is a rainbow. Those things are I just can't get over it. It's just so beautiful to see one, like, after it rains or whatever. It's just so beautiful. And I see why rainbows come out after it rains, because a rainbow just represents Yahuah's promise to not flood the earth again. So no wonder why they came out after the rain. So anyways, for this reason it is ordained and written in the tablets of the heavens that they should celebrate the festival of Shavuot in this month once a year, to renew the covenant every year. The feast days literally existed. Some people believe it only existed from Moses' time, but no, it existed long before Moses. Actually, the feast days existed since the creation of Adam and Eve. Actually, before that, it was written in the constellations. And of course, that is another subject to talk about. Now, continuing on. And this whole festival was celebrated in the heavens from the day of creation till the days of Noah. Yeah, didn't I just say that? I was just reading what I was just speaking on. 26 jubilees and 5 weeks of years, and Noah and his sons observe it for 7 jubilees and 1 week of years. Just a reminder, one jubilee is 50 years. So all you have to do is multiply 50 years by however many is said on however many jubilees. So since it was in the 26th jubilee and 5 weeks of years is 7 years each. So now I'm going to tell you what year it was since the creation of Adam and Eve. So 26 times 50 that is 1,300. The year 1,300 plus the 5 weeks of years. That is 7 times 5, 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. So really, we were in the year 1,335 since the creation of Adam and Eve. So it's in the year 1,335, which could be approximately maybe like 3,000 something BC. So, all right. So that's really the time period that we're in right now. All right. And Noah and his sons observe it for 7 jubilees. So they literally observe the feast days for 7 jubilees, which is 350 years they were observing it for. Wow, that's a long time. They observed it all appointed times once a year for 350 years. All right. Okay, yeah, I'm good at math. That's why I'm able to calculate all this in my mind. All right. So so Noah and his sons observed for 7 jubilees, 1 week and 1 week of years. So just add 7 years to that number. Till the day of Noah's death. And from the day of Noah's death, his sons forsook it till the days of Abraham, and they ate blood. So literally, after Noah died, they stopped keeping the appointed times. They rebelled against Yahuah's commandments, and they literally was eating blood. So they became vampires after Noah died. That's really disgusting. I'm just being funny when it talked about vampires and just adding a little humor to this. Okay, so they didn't keep the appointed times from the day of Noah's death up until Abraham. That's a long time, by the way. But Abraham observed it, and Isaac and Jacob and his children observed it up until your days. So they all observed it up until, that's talking about Moses, because Moses wrote this book. So they observed it up until Moses' time. And in your days, the children of Yasharal forgot it until you celebrated anew on this mountain, the mountain of Sinai, when Moses was up there. So of course they forgot it when they were worshiping the golden calf and all that stuff. That's what it's referring to. And you shall command the children of Yasharal to observe this festival in all their generations for a command unto them. 1 day in the year of this month they shall celebrate this festival. For it is the festival of Shavuot and the festival of first fruits. This feast is twofold of a double nature, according to what is written, and engraved it concerning it, celebrate it. So Feast of First Fruits, that is the third feast. It was, goes from Passover to unleavened bread to Feast of First Fruit, and then Shavuot's after that. So it's just talking about the connection between the Feast of First Fruits and Shavuot, which they're the third and fourth day of the third or fourth feast of the spring appointed times. All right. And I have written in the book of the first Torah, in that which I have written for you, that you should celebrate it in its season, one day in the year. And I explain to you its slaughterings, that the children of Yasharal should remember and should celebrate it throughout their generations in this month, one day every year. And on the new moon of the first month, and on the new moon of the fourth month, and on the new moon of the seventh month, and on the new moon of the 10th month, are the days of remembrance, and the days of the seasons in the four divisions of the year. These are written and ordained as a witness forever. Now, sum up the seasons, of course. And Noah ordained, so it's back to Noah now. Noah ordained them for himself as the festivals for the generations forever, so that they have become thereby a memorial to Yahuah. And on the new moon of the first month, he was told to make an ark. And on that day, the earth became dry, and he opened the ark and saw the earth. And on the new moon of the fourth month, the mouths of the depths of the abysses beneath were closed. And on the new moon of the seventh month, all the mouths of the abysses of the earth were open, and the waters began to descend into them. So the abysses is talking about, like, as I described in the book of Enoch in one of my previous videos, the abysses were actually beyond the edge, which is beyond the Antarctica ice ring around the earth. And yeah, so that's basically what it's referring to. So on the new moon of the 10th month, on the tops of the mountains were seen, and Noah was glad. On the account of this, he ordained them for himself as festivals for a memorial forever, and thus are they ordained. And they placed them on the tablets of the heavens. Each had 13 weeks. Their memorial passed from one to another, from the first to the second, and from the second to the third, and from the third to the fourth. And all the days of the command shall be 52 weeks of days, and these shall make the entire year complete. And thus it is engraved and ordained in the tablets of the heavens, and there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year or from year to year. And you shall command the children of Yasharal that they should observe the years according to this reckoning, 364 days, and these shall constitute a complete year, and that they shall not disturb its time from its days, from its festivals, for all shall fall out in them according to their witness, and they shall not leave out any day or disturb any festivals. But if they neglect and do not observe them according to his command, they that shall disturb all their seasons, and the years shall be dislodged from this order, and they shall neglect their laws. And all the children of Yasharal shall forget, and shall not find the paths of the years, and shall forget the new moons and the seasons and the Sabbaths, and they shall go astray as to all the orders of the years. For I know from this time on I shall declare it to you, that it is not my own devising, for the book is written before me. On the tablets of the heavens the division of days is ordained, lest they forget the festivals of the covenant, and walk according to the festivals of the Gentiles after their straying and after their ignorance. And there shall be those who shall assuredly make observations of the moon, and now it disturbs the seasons, and it comes in from year to year 10 days too soon. So basically right now it's talking about how how obviously it talked about earlier the sun is 364-day year cycle, but since the moon it said it was 10 days too soon, it's a 354 day in a year, that how the moon orbits. So that is why it's we should not go by the moon when it comes to keeping the appointed times. We should go by the sun and the solar year, because some people literally keep the lunar year, and that's actually inaccurate and it throws everything off. So now I'm going to continue reading. For this reason I command and witness to you, that you may witness to them. For after your death your children shall confuse them, and they shall not make the year 364 days only. And for this reason they shall go astray as to the new moons and seasons and Sabbaths and festivals, and they shall eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh. So that is it for chapter 6 of the book of Jubilees. I wanted to continue reading a little bit of chapter 7 because it's still continuing talking about Noah's covenant with Yahuah. So the beginning of chapter 7, I'm going to just read until it doesn't mention Noah anymore. And in the 7th week in the 1st year in this Jubilee, Noah planted vines on the mountain on which the ark had rested, named Lubar, one of the mountains of Arat. And they produced fruit in the 4th year, and he guarded their fruit, and gathered it in this year in the 7th month. And he made wine from them, and put it into a vessel, and kept it until the 5th year, until the 1st day of the new moon of the 1st month. And he celebrated with joy the day of this festival, and he made a burnt offering to Yahuah, 1 young bull and 1 ram and 7 sheep, each a year old, and a young goat, that he might make atonement thereby for himself and for his son. So right now we're in the fall appointed times. This is when Noah, started observing the fall appointed times. All right. And he prepared the young goat first, and placed some of its blood on the flesh that was on the altar which he had made, and all the fat he had laid on the altar where he made the burnt offering, and the bull and the ram and the sheep, and he arranged all their flesh on the altar. And he placed all their offerings, mixed oil on it, and afterwards he sprinkled wine on the fire which he had previously made on the altar. And he placed incense on the altar, and caused a sweet fragrance to ascend, acceptable before Yahuah his God. And he rejoiced and drank of this wine, he and his children, with joy. And it was evening, and he went into his tent, and being drunk, he lay down and slept, and was uncovered in his tent, and he slept. All right, so we're gonna end right there. The parts after that is already actually written in the book of Genesis. You kind of know what happened after that, where what happened with Ham and how he saw Noah naked and all that stuff. So that's basically what happened after that. Just to keep it on the subject regarding how Noah made a covenant with Yahuah. So this is basically what the book of Jubilees talked about regarding how Noah made a covenant with Yahuah after the flood. So that is going to be it for this subject. And I hope you all enjoy that. I hope the person watching right now enjoyed it. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I'm going to create another video right after this. The next subject I'm going to do in the book of Jubilee. So shalom, everyone. See you in the next video.